Man with same name as US Sen. Dan Sullivan is eligible for Alaska's primary ballot, judge rules. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Add AP News on Google. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Share JUNEAU, Alaska AP. A man with the same name and party affiliation as Alaska Republican U.S. Sen. Dan Sullivan is eligible for the August primary and can appear on the ballot, a judge ruled Friday. Superior Court Judge Thomas Matthews' ruling overturns a June 15 decision by Division of Elections Director Carol Beecher to disqualify the challenger and keep him off the primary ballot. Matthews' ruling can be appealed to the state Supreme Court. Attorneys for the state have said Tuesday is the deadline for a final ruling so that ballots for the Org. 18 primary can be printed. The controversy over the two Dan Sullivans has underscored the stakes involved in the incumbent's re-election campaign. The Alaska race is one of about a half-dozen U.S. Senate races that are expected to be highly competitive in the fall, and the seat is one Democrats are trying to flip in their efforts to try to regain the majority. The senator and allies, including the National Republican Senatorial Committee, have condemned the challenger's efforts to join the race, arguing his presence could confuse voters. Under Alaska's election system, the top 4 candidates from the primary, regardless of party, move on to the ranked choice November general election. The senator has accused the challenger Sullivan of working with Democrats and the campaign of Democratic former U.S. Rep. Mary Peltola, who is considered the senator's main opponent, to cause confusion and boost Peltola's chances. Peltola's campaign and state Democrats have denied the allegation, as has the challenger. Read more. Sen. Sullivan and Peltola are the highest-profile candidates in the crowded race and the only ones to report raising any money. Beecher has said she determined the challenger Sullivan is not eligible to run because his candidacy was not filed in good faith and instead was done with an intent to confuse voters. She said he had registered to vote as Daniel J. Sullivan, Jr., and in conjunction with his candidacy changed his party affiliation to Republican. She also cited similarities between his campaign website and the senator's and his work with a consultant whose clients have included some Democrats. She did not mention finding any evidence of alleged coordination. In arguing to keep the challenger disqualified, attorneys for the state pushed back on suggestions the ballot could be designed in a way to reduce voter confusion over two candidates with the same name and party running for the same office. The Constitution does not require states to place a sham candidate on the ballot and then attempt to mitigate the damage through design choices, Attorney Rachel Whitty, with the Alaska Department of Law, and outside attorneys Christopher Murray and Michael Francisco wrote in court filings. Attorneys for the challenger Sullivan argued that the Constitution lays out 3 exclusive qualifications for the Senate, addressing only age, citizenship, and residency. They said Beecher lacked the legal authority to boot their client off the ballot. The challenger Sullivan has said that sharing a name and party affiliation with the incumbent gave him an instant megaphone, but the retired teacher and former U.S. Forest Service employee, who is 69, said he had considered a run for some time and had grown frustrated with the senator. He initially was certified on the state's candidate list as Dan J. Sullivan, with the senator listed as Dan S. Sullivan and identified as the incumbent.